Did you know that by 2025, Gen Z will make up almost 30% of the global workforce? That's right. This digital native generation is not just entering the workplace, they are revolutionizing it. Imagine walking into your office on a Monday morning and finding that your company has ditched the traditional 9 to 5 schedule. Instead, employees now have flexible working hours and remote working options. The office layout has transformed from just cubicles or fixed desks into open spaces, collaboration zones, and quiet areas designed for focus and creativity. You see, this isn't just a fantasy. It's actually one of the many changes Gen Z is bringing to the workplace. But it doesn't stop there. Gen Z is also driving significant cultural shifts within companies. They prioritize mental health, demand diversity and inclusion, and are unafraid to challenge outdated corporate norms. Gone are the days when discussing mental health was taboo. Today, companies are implementing wellness programs, offering mental health days, and providing resources to support employee well-being, all thanks to the advocacy of Gen Z. Undoubtedly, this generation's impact is reshaping the very fabric of our work environments, making them more adaptable, inclusive, and supportive than ever before. All of these things sound very intriguing and exciting, but really, are they? From new working styles to innovative technologies, Gen Z is making waves in the work market. But what precisely are these changes that they have successfully implemented? And what problems have arisen as a result of it? Born between 1997 and 2012, Gen Zs are now entering the workforce in significant numbers with a fresh perspective, shaped by growing up in the digital age, witnessing economic uncertainties, and prioritizing values like inclusivity, flexibility, and a work-life balance. As the first generation to grow up with the internet and social media as integral parts of their daily lives, this constant connectivity has not only made them digital natives, but also highly adaptable to new technologies and communication platforms. They're used to instant access to information and expect the same speed and efficiency in their workplaces. Of course, everyone in this generation was a kid when the great financial crisis of 2008 happened. However, they were more conscious of the economic disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. So yes, these guys believe they have just the right amount of experience in the career world, which influences why they prioritize job security and are keen on opportunities that offer growth and stability. Moreover, Gen Z is known for their strong stance on social issues. They advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace more than we have ever seen before. They expect employers to reflect these values not just in the hiring practices, but also in company culture and leadership. You see, what these guys are doing is mouth-watering. They are pushing for changes that align with their values and lifestyle, and their influence is becoming increasingly evident across various industries. But let's take a minute to analyze the arising problems associated with the massive influx of Gen Zs in the workplace to put things into a better context. I mean, yes, Gen Z is revolutionizing almost everything related to work. However, with these rapid changes comes significant challenges. Whilst Gen Z's influence has brought about much needed innovation and inclusivity, it has also introduced new problems that companies are struggling to address. Issues like remote work burnout, technology overload, and generational clashes are leading to the relatively long list of issues. But let's begin with the remote work burnout. According to a 2022 survey by the American Psychological Association, 79% of employees in the US reported experiencing work-related stress, with remote workers being particularly affected. For precision, what this means is that 3 in every 5 employees in the US are suffering from the negative impacts of work-related stress, which include, but are not limited to, lack of interest, reduced energy levels, zero motivation to work, physical fatigue, emotional exhaustion, and so on. And the reason behind this, to be honest, isn't far-fetched. The blurred lines between work and home life have led to longer work hours. It's increasingly hard to know when to shut off your computer system and go to bed, take a walk, or do anything else apart from work. And with these longer hours have come increased stress levels, which is logical. I mean, the longer you work, the more stressed you are, yeah? But let's not flog over this because technology overload is another challenge to discuss. The reliance on digital communication tools has skyrocketed. A report from Deloitte in 2023 found that 60% of workers felt overwhelmed by the number of communication platforms they had to use daily, and this is somehow encouraging them to quit their current jobs and look elsewhere where they are exposed to fewer tech stacks. Yes, tools like Slack, Zoom, and Teams are intended to streamline work, and to be fair, they have helped significantly in achieving this. However, despite the progress we think we have made thus far within the last decade, it is apparent that we are actually still in the infant stage of tech, and adequate management is still a big task for companies to handle, and this is where the issues stem from. You see, without proper management, these digital tools created to streamline work, particularly remote working, can actually lead to constant interruptions and decreased productivity. However, since this is what Gen Z is familiar with and wouldn't want to work with any other company acting otherwise, companies are ultimately forced to fall in line while working actively to find plausible solutions to the issues resulting from using these tech stacks. Away from tech, one major cause that Gen Z workers stand for, whilst it positively impacts globally, has been almost a curse for companies too: diversity and inclusion. While diversity and inclusion are top priorities for Gen Z, not all companies effectively implement these initiatives. A study by McKinsey in 2023 highlighted that 45% of employees felt their company's diversity efforts were more about optics than genuine change. And if we look beyond the surface to examine startups, particularly work culture and values, you would see this to be true. They are, at best, make-believe and are not targeted at driving genuine change. See this as taking 3 steps forward but 4 steps back. And really, that is what it looks like. Gen Z is fighting for them, and companies are disguising, pretending to implement them into their work culture when they actually haven't at all. Then, Gen Z thinks the problem is solved when, in fact, it has only worsened. Interestingly, companies like Starbucks and Salesforce are taking steps to address this by conducting regular diversity training and setting transparent diversity goals. But beyond this, yes, many organizations still struggle to move beyond performative measures, and this doesn't look to stop anytime soon. Probably until Gen Z workers start asking the right questions and the older generations are further boxed into a corner, forced to answer them. Lastly, and very importantly, we have generational clashes. Let me break this down for you. At the moment, an average workplace in the US comprises multiple generations, from Generation X to Millennials and most recently, Generation Z. All of these categories of generations have distinct work styles and expectations. Now you get the drift, yeah? To put things into perspective, about 74% of managers and business leaders globally confirm that Gen Zs are more difficult to work with than any other generations, primarily due to differing views on work-life balance and communication styles. In the words of Akpan Ukeme, the head of HR at SGK Global Shipping Services, in our organization, the Gen Zs I have interacted with can be exhausting because they lack discipline and they like to challenge you. Speaking of challenge, Akpan confirms that he has butted heads at least once with a Gen Z employee in their company because since their company is online based, they think they know everything about the digital world and that they can teach you. They think they are better than you, smarter than you, more capable than you, and they will tell you to your face. All of these challenges point to one thing: how complex is it to integrate Gen Z's progressive ideals into existing workplace structures? Whilst the benefits are clear, the path to a harmonious and productive work environment requires careful consideration and innovative solutions. And boy, are these companies trying. Anyways, hey, Gen Z isn't a plague, and honestly, we aren't demonizing them in this video. As I've mentioned multiple times in the video, the benefits they bring to the work environment as they flood the space in their numbers can never be exaggerated. In fact, they are almost evident in all the challenges we have discussed so far in this video. One of the most important and prominent changes they have successfully made in the work environment is digital proficiency and technological integration. Again, as I'd mentioned earlier in this video, Gen Z's had very early exposure to technology, cut across smartphones, tablets, computers, and various digital platforms. They literally grew up in the digital age, which explains why they're called digital natives. This early exposure has made them inherently comfortable with technology, giving them an intuitive understanding of digital tools and platforms. They are familiar with various operating systems such as Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android, allowing them to adapt quickly to different technological environments. And since the world has gone and is still going digital, businesses filled with well-managed Gen Zs are, to a considerable extent, better positioned to enjoy the perks of digitalization than their competitors who aren't. Now, the key word here market is well managed because anything outside of this is the primary cause of the challenges we discussed in the first part of the video. Another exciting change is remote work and flexibility. Let's be honest, this is a no-brainer really. And while it can be argued that remote working became popular because of the COVID-19 lockdown in 2020, it's impossible to deny the role of Gen Zs in the work environment in making this work approach conceivable. A few companies are struggling to come to terms with this, but the truth is, Gen Z is particularly well suited for remote work. Their comfort with digital communication tools inspires their confidence to execute their tasks wherever they want. A good percentage of them are also open to flexibility and often prefer hybrid working models that combine in-office and remote work. Over time, this adaptability has proven to lead to increased productivity and job satisfaction. This also somehow explains why Gen Zs emphasize work-life balance and mental health, even though data suggests that the results are otherwise. Inarguably, Gen Z strongly emphasizes achieving a healthy work-life balance and prioritizes mental health more than any other previous generation. This shift is influenced by their upbringing, societal changes, and increased awareness to the importance of mental well-being. This generation seeks the autonomy to manage their work hours to accommodate personal commitments and hobbies, leading to increased job satisfaction and productivity. But now, the big question is, are the current workforce actually enjoying this increased job satisfaction and productivity? Let's circle back to a statistic I cited earlier in this video by the American Psychological Association. 79% of employees in the United States reported experiencing work-related stress, with remote workers being particularly affected. This somehow answers this question, although it then births an even bigger question. Are the efforts and the changes championed by Gen Zs in the work environment counterintuitive? Anyway, whilst you answer that, I'll leave you with a quote by Michelle Palmer-Lee, the Global People and Purpose Leader at Deloitte. Gen Zs and millennials are striving for better work-life balance. They are also values-driven and concerned about the environment, the state of the world, and the future they see developing ahead of them. However, it is crucial for employers to understand these generations and continue to drive progress on the challenges that matter most to them. So yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.